Good design is of absolute necessity. I think for inspiration, we don't have to look further than Mother Nature because she is like the greatest designer that is ever there. And even though you would see that she never functions in a straight line, there's a lot of curves and there is a lot of long winding path that she takes, which is like an inspiration for us also, that getting from point A to point B just does not mean that you go straight. You can have multiple pathways. So when you create those multiple pathways, you kind of keep building synergies along the way. And that is the synergy or the connections that help you build a very resilient system. We go by the name Tieedi, okay, which stands for Take It Easy, Easy Does It. It's a permaculture project where we are trying to work with Mother Nature in trying to improve the ecosystem around where we are. The initial goal of Tieedi was to set up a place where people can come in as travelers and also learn about the local culture, let it be an immersive experience. They can stay in a local hut built in a local indigenous way. Where we are located, this was a dumping yard. So we set up this project to ensure that with what we are doing, we end up making the place better by converting this wasteland into a food forest. We're trying to encourage the local species to grow wild on their own and also to encourage biodiversity in the place. And while doing that, it's not just about, when you say land, it's not just about land. You're trying to work with, of course, water, you're trying to improve the air quality, and a very significant thing is you're trying to improve the quality of life of the community also around. So when you look at permaculture, it's based on very basic principles of earth care, people care, and fair share. So that's what we're trying to implement, the ethics of permaculture out here. Influence from outside has not really been good for the local ecosystem that is there, because the way of life and the quality of life changed for the worse is what I've noticed. Our focus of the project shifted towards zero waste when we realized how deeply entrenched the problem was. While working in the land, because we are trying to work a lot with managing the waste here, we've become a zero waste farm. There's no point in creating something in isolation because ultimately there's a lot of wrong that's happening on the other side. It's important to turn off the tap because you can't just focus on cleanups, because cleanups are a great way to begin, okay, but not a great way to end. So that's when we decided to launch our home composting unit, and along with that we launched something called a zero waste Andolan. Okay, we call it Andolan, and it's a very strong word that we use because we feel that unless and until we take it up as a revolution, we won't have much time to correct the wrong that has already been done. We've got a composting unit on the other side, okay, that takes care of almost 200 kgs of waste per day. We feel that's the actual real black gold where it's trying to become soil. It's just not there in the right microclimate for it to become soil. So if you are able to take care of that, it's much more easier to take care of the dry waste. And integrated within the composting unit is our chicken coop. The chickens are our compost warriors. If you are able to localize yourself where all the wrong is happening and try and go a different direction, create a center of excellence that makes people question what they're doing, and that brings in change from within. Right next to the road, you'll see a Tieedi zero waste store. If you tell people not to use certain things because it's polluting, you need to give them options too. That's where we showcase some of the products that we make here. And also, it's a platform for the local artists and craftsmen to kind of showcase what they've made. And also, we showcase some of the alternatives to plastic out there. We also organize occasionally something called a bun bath. Okay, and colloquially, it means a forest picnic, where we call people over and make them go through, you can say, an extravagant day where they eat great food and they are able to participate in few events like bamboo weaving while they're in the forest. And the idea here again is to encourage people to go to places like this and also come back having tasted what it's like to be in true nature. We've also been working with schools a lot, and we've organized 2 permaculture design certification course, and we've also done a permaculture teachers training course out here that introduces a layman to permaculture and makes him realize, hey, this is something that I can apply in any sphere of life. So that's when it's like seeding them with regenerative ideals so that, they will start seeking changes wherever that they go. It's been a joy working with team in OKC Monastery, where initially when they had approached us, they were looking to solve a problem that they had encountered, where they had been trying to compost, but they were not being able to compost. And here we had developed a system where we were able to compost effectively, irrespective of how the microclimate was outside. We decided to go ahead and build a composting unit for them and work on a model where our volunteers handhold them for a period of 6 months. And once it becomes a habit, then they would be able to do it on their own. So what is heartening is OKC Monastery not just is able to transform about like 20-25 kgs of the everyday biodegradable waste into compost, but also they're able to market it and sell it. As daunting as the problem may seem, as complex as it seems, and as urgent as it seems, it's important to take slow, measured steps and then to accelerate further once you've built the foundation, because that's how you would be able to sustain it for a long term, is what we've realized. And taking the own inspiration from Mother Nature, we've realized that to be able to grow up like a tree and spread the branches, you need to first be able to dig your roots deep. Okay, and ensure that when you spread your wings, your roots are intact, so that whenever there is a strong adversity or a wind that blows, you don't break into two, because your roots are what's holding you tightly onto the ground. So it's about staying grounded while trying to fly high.